Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, from whichever location you're joining from. Let's give a couple more minutes for others to join, then we'll get started. And while others are joining, maybe you can use YouTube chat to put your name, location from where you are dialing in, and then the role you are in. You can use the YouTube chat to type in these answers. I'll give one more minute. And then along with this, if you want to share any other information, please feel free to do so. So it's always good to know who is attending this webinar so that we can customize and then give those references which are aligned with you. So okay, time's up. Welcome to this webinar, which is on Introduction to Scrum Framework, which is conducted by Massivue. And then myself, my name is Balaji Sathram, and I'm working as a senior agile coach in Massivue. And then I would myself and then Sandeep, who is in the call, we both would be hosting this webinar. So but before getting into the webinar content, so let me share more about the company, which is Massivue. So it's a consulting and then training firm, so which provides end-to-end solutions for the organization's agile transformation from idea to production. Our unique selling factories, once we are in, it would take 2 to 3 months for us to understand and transform the teams and then the business units or organization which we get into. That's something which I would like to highlight. And then if you see the agile transformations which are happening currently, over 80% of the transformations don't deliver the intended outcomes or intended results. That's something which we would like to analyze and share our approach. So our approach is more like fit for purpose and then prone transformation approach, which we have come up with based on the coaches who are in Massivue, and then based on their experience and wisdom, we have come up with this proven transformation approach, which would be more based on co-creation, and then along with that purposeful approach. So that this is something about Massivue, and then along with the consulting and then the agile transformation, we are also provide trainings which is totally based on practicality or pragmatic learning. So which would give you more of an experience sharing or practical learning, so that once you are back in your organization, you can start applying those learnings in your organization. And our expertise, if you see here, these are our expertise in Massivue, which is we have worked with leaders and culture transformations and in executive coaching, enterprise agile coaching. You can name any department within the organization. That's something where we come in and we help those teams to be high-performing teams through our coaching, mentoring, and training approaches. And then we have around 8 enterprise transformation coaches in Massivue, and then we have already worked with 3,000 plus people orgs and then transformed them into new agile ways of working. And then we have trained around 5,000 plus people, where they got their capabilities up with respect to our trainings related to Scrum, Agile, leadership, and then DevOps. And then this is our mission statement: transforming organizations through proven, purposeful, and then pragmatic models to achieve sustainable business outcomes at the enterprise scale. And these are some of the clients our coaches have already worked with, which varies from different domains, which is banking, travel, telecom, data, insurance, healthcare. So these are the different domains our coaches have worked with. So moving on. So for today's webinar, this is our agenda. So we'll be taking you through what is Scrum, then Scrum values and then framework, and then understanding the roles or accountabilities in Scrum, then understanding various Scrum events, and then understanding the Scrum artifacts. This is part 1. And then part 2 would be more about how learning path has to be for Scrum Masters and product owners. What are the learning and career pathways for SMs and POs? And at last, we'll spend some time in taking questions and answers or sharing our ideas and thoughts. So this is divided into part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will be covering about Scrum. Part 2 will be learning and career pathways. In a couple of ground rules or house rules, which we would request you to follow. So please be present and then focus. We request you not to multitask, so that you will get the essence or intent of this webinar with the right knowledge. Then if you have anything to share or any thoughts or ideas while you are hearing us, and then feel free to type in your questions or thoughts or anything you want to share in the chat box. And then at last, we'll have 10 to 15 minutes of time for having our knowledge sharing and then question and answers. Little bit more about myself. So my full name is Balaji Sathram, and then I have been in this professional industry for almost 16 plus years. And then since 2011, I have been working with Scrum teams, Kanban teams, and then with Agile practitioners. And that gives me good knowledge about what competencies Scrum Masters and product owners and Agile coaches have to have. And then I'm passionate about facilitation and then professional coaching plus Agile consulting. This is what about me. And then please, if you have not yet shared, take some time to share your name, location, and then what role you are in, so that we understand you also better. Okay, I see some answers coming up. Okay, along with that, before getting into explaining about Scrum framework, we just want to understand, where do you place yourself on the scale of 1 to 10 with respect to Agile and then Scrum knowledge? So 1 being I'm a starter and I don't know much about it, and then 10 being you have already been working with the Scrum teams and then you have implemented Scrum somewhere in the organization you're working with. So please use chat box to type in. And I'll give 1 minute. Okay, Why says 5, I got 3, Yuri 5. Nice, good to know that. Okay, moving on. Thanks for sharing the details. And let's get into part 1. So where we'll be taking you through the basics of Scrum. So before getting into basics of Scrum, I would like to help you understand why we need to focus on Agile. So because there has been many projects which were running in waterfall, where it's more like there has been different phases and then phase gates, and then each phase takes certain time, and then project will take almost 6 months to 1 year. And then at the end, again, when you interact with customer, maybe customer would say, this is not what I wanted, or this doesn't fit my requirements now, because considering the time of 1 year, maybe at the time of taking requirements, market was different, and at the time of delivering the requirements, market is different. So that would make whatever work you have done, that's not fitting the purpose. So that's the place where there were different leaders who has been working on different approaches other than waterfall. They have come together, and then somewhere in 2001, they have created an Agile manifesto, manifesto for software development. And then if you see this picture, so through what Agile focuses is, if you see waterfall, there is features fixed, they'll be playing out with time and cost. That varies based on the features you are working with. And then there's a problem with quality. But if you see the Agile focused delivery, where time and cost are fixed, and then the features will be playing with features, which is variable, because value comes with the features which you are delivering. So Agile is more value focused than delivering all the features. Suppose if I have 10 features to build a product, so out of which I'll be starting with which is the highest valued feature. I'll start with that, so that whatever I'm delivering, I'll be delivering within a time frame, and then I'll be sharing the development with my clients, and then I'll be getting the feedback. Then again, I'll build on it. So Agile totally shifts the focus from delivery to the right value. So that's the shift you see from waterfall to Agile. And then if you have anything to share in between, please use YouTube chat. So YouTube chat to share your thoughts. And then before getting into Scrum, we have seen why Agile. Now let's see where Agile stands. There is a report which is called State of Agile. So if you in next slide, there is a link. You can make a note of that link, and then you can go through the report. We call it as State of Agile report. And then where in last year, which is the 15th State of Agile report, where around 1,300 plus people have provided their inputs to get the current state of Agile. So this survey has been done globally. And this survey has been sent to different practitioners and then taken inputs from around 1,300 people. And then I'll share you a couple of information from that report, which is a 15th State of Agile report for last year. So these are some of the questions, not all the questions, some of the questions they would be asking. And then whoever is practicing, that they will give their inputs. And then for your information, currently 16th Agile State of Report is open. And if you want, you can just go to that link, which is provided in the bottom of the slide. You can share your inputs as well. So why should we care about Agile? So these are some of the questions which they ask. So how long has your company has been practicing Agile? So what were the most important reasons for adapting Agile? What is the intent behind Agile transformation? And in which Agile methodology they have been using? And in which of the following Agile techniques and practices does your organization use? So these are some of the things which they have been asking and then collecting data globally, which is helping us to understand how this environment has been moving on. So if you see the answers, so how long has your company has been practicing Agile? So there are around 94% of people where they say that they have been practicing it for 3 to 5 years. And then the 1 to 2 years, there's 22% of the companies which they're practicing Agile for 1 to 2 years, and 7% less than 1 year. And then only 2% people are not practicing Agile. If you see that 98% of the people our organizations have been using Agile. So that makes agility is no more optional. It's more like that's a way of living or a way of going ahead for all the organizations and then people. And if you see the reasons why they are moving to Agile, so enhancing ability to manage changing priorities, that's the main reason, which is at top, and accelerate software delivery, increase team productivity, and then improve business and IT alignment. I can give you one example because I've been working with one of the banks where this fourth one, improving business and IT alignment, has been a challenge. And almost for past 2 to 3 years, we have been working to build that. There has been change in different leaderships, but that has been a challenge. But now with the implementation of Agile, new ways of working, and then plus giving new ways of working and a new set of practices, defining a portfolio level, at least with that, we are trying to see some alignment between business and IT. They are working together, and then which is helping for the organization to reduce the time to market and then time to value. And then coming to frameworks, which methodology companies have been using, if you see, almost 66% of the companies are using Scrum. Plus 9 is Scrum Ban, 6% is Scrum or XP Hybrid, then 6% Kanban. So Scrum has been widely used out of all Agile methodologies. And which are the following Agile techniques? If you see the top practices or techniques, which are all of Scrum, which is daily stand-up, retrospectives, sprint iteration planning, or sprint or iteration reviews. These are all Scrum practices, which again emphasizes on the 66% people using Scrum. So they have been starting with Scrum. And in which framework does your organization follow to help scale Agile? So when it comes to scaling Agile, I think 37% of people are using SAFe, and the next Scrum at Scale, which is at 9%. So these are the two top frameworks at scale, which are in use for scaling Agile for the organizations. So this is the state of Agile in a current moment with respect to the state of Agile report. Any questions or any thoughts you want to share at this point? I'd like to give a pause. And if you have any questions, please use YouTube chat. Okay, fine. Next is getting into Scrum. So what is Scrum? Scrum is a lightweight framework. So what does it do? It helps people, teams, and then organizations. And what is the outcome we'll be getting after implementing Scrum? So it generates value through adaptive solutions for complex problems. And again, from practical perspective, so implementing Scrum is not a silver bullet. So the main benefit I have seen while coaching or mentoring teams who are using Scrum, the biggest benefit I have seen for teams and organizations, it will surface all the issues or all the challenges you have at different levels. Maybe at individual level, which is capability, and then team level, how they are performing, and then at organization level, what kind of portfolio challenges, and then what kind of release level challenges, any challenge. Once you implement Scrum, it will surface all the problems you have. And then next thing is you need to act upon it. That's an organizational decision or leadership decision that you want to act upon it. But one biggest benefit I have seen is it will surface all the problems. And it's a framework, not a methodology. And the main difference between framework and methodology is framework, it'll give you what and why, and then how part it leave it to you. You can customize based on your parameters and then your context. Methodology, it'll define what, why, and how. So that's a main difference between framework and then methodology. And then it's very lightweight, as it has only 3 accountabilities, and then 5 events, and then 3 artifacts, which we'll be discussing in detail in next slides. And then empirical, if you see the word empirical, it's in philosophy, it is defined as the theory that states that knowledge comes from primarily from the senses, from sensory experience. That's more like it's data based. And if you see in the agile world, it's more like evidence-based manner. Any data which you are getting, based on that, you will be taking decisions. And then Scrum is built on empiricism. And then empiricism includes 3 pillars, which is transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Transparency stands for, we all know what's going on. Suppose if somebody outside of my team comes and wants to see what my team is working upon. So if you can give your Jira board or some other physical board, that should give an context of what your team is working upon. So that's the transparency we are talking about. Everybody knows what's going on. And coming to inspection, whatever work you are doing, you will be checking your work as you do it. That's the inspection part. And then next is adaptation, which is okay to change the tactical direction. Suppose after inspecting, you thought that, okay, we are not going in the right way. Should we change the direction? So that is adaptation part. And iterative and incremental. Iterative is something you will be working on every sprint or iteration, which is time boxed. And incremental, you will be giving increments. You will be giving features as increments to the already delivered features. Suppose there are some 10 features or 100 features, where in first sprint you will be delivering 1, 2, and then in second sprint you will be delivering 3, 4. So we call the 3 and 4 features as an increment to 1 and 2. So that's the concept of incremental thing. Any questions or any thoughts you want to share? And then how many of you have been part of this Scrum team, or have you been practicing Scrum at your team level or at your organization level? Maybe you can say, yes, I have been practicing for my team, or for my organization is implementing Scrum. So whatever you feel like. So have you been practicing Scrum in your organization? So use the chat window, YouTube chat, to share your answers. And then feel free to share. This is a safe environment, and then no thought is no value thought. So any thought you are sharing, that will add value to our interactions. And that will help me to understand how much I need to cover and then how much I need to leave in the content. Okay. Ayush says practicing just a bit, and Yuri says they're using Kanban boards. And then one tip gamer says, yes, I'm practicing sometime. Great. Good. At least you are in that flow. So you have been using it. That's nice. So that whatever you learn from this webinar, you will be able to go back and then start inspecting or start practicing or add some value to it. Okay. So moving to Scrum values. So these are the 5 values which Scrum Guide prescribes or the Scrum Guide suggests. So which would help your teams to be very effective in whatever they are doing. One is openness. And then Scrum team agrees to be open about the work and then the challenges they are facing to get those work implemented. So they should be very open and then share what work they're doing and then what challenges they are facing to implement that work. And then focus. Everybody in the Scrum team have only one focus, which is sprint goal in the sprint. They should, anything they are doing, it should be leading them to the Scrum goal, to achieve that Scrum goal within the sprint. And respect, irrespective of titles and irrespective of their knowledge, one person has to respect other person irrespective of all those tags and all those designations. So that's the respect part. And coming to courage, if you have any challenge, suppose maybe I can share one example where in one of my team, they have been asked to do something which is not their strength. Suppose they have been in Java technology, but there has been some other task given to them. So that person has been courageous to say that, okay, I don't have knowledge, but if you provide me enough knowledge, I would be able to take it. Because I've seen in other teams where they're not very opening up because they don't want to tell that they don't know. So that's the courage part we are talking about. And then doing the right thing. And if somebody is not doing the right thing, maybe somewhere you need to voice out saying that this is not helping our team to reach our sprint goal or release goal. So somewhere you need to voice out and share that feedback, be courageous to do the right thing and then to help others to do the right thing. And then work on the tough problems or tough challenges which you are getting. That's the courage part. And coming to commitment, people commit to whatever work they would be committing in the sprint planning. And then we call it as forecast as well. So when you are forecasting, you will be committing to achieving the sprint goal in that sprint. These are the 5 Scrum values which you need to focus, maybe as a Scrum Master, as a product owner, or as a team member. You need to make sure that your team practices these Scrum values if you want to get effective value out of implementing the Scrum framework. Okay, moving to the Scrum framework. This is a whole Scrum, which can be explained in maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but it takes lifetime to practice and get it implemented. So if you see this, here it is a product backlog, and then sprint planning. After the sprint planning, you will be having sprint backlog. And once you have sprint backlog, team starts working upon it. So where they'll be having daily Scrum. And then once that sprint duration is done, whatever they have built, then that will be delivered or given as a product increment. And that increment will be reviewed in sprint review. And then at the end of the sprint, you will be doing a sprint retrospective to see how you can improve as a Scrum team. So moving to next slide, which is Scrum in a nutshell. We call it as 353. So if you want to explain about Scrum, we call it as 353, which is 3 accountabilities, 5 events, and then 3 artifacts. This is what is included in Scrum. So accountabilities, there are 3 accountabilities, which are product owner, Scrum Master, and then developers. And events, there are 5 events: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, retrospective, and the sprint itself is an event. And artifacts, there are 3 artifacts, which are product backlog, then sprint backlog, and then potentially shippable product increment. So let's get into details of each category. So let's start with accountabilities. So one is there are 3 accountabilities: product owner, Scrum Master, and developers. These are the 3 accountabilities which are in Scrum. So coming to product owner is a person who takes decisions related to product backlog. So anybody or everybody can add their inputs saying that, okay, this is a feature I want. They can add that in product backlog, but ownership lies with product owner, when to do it and then in what order it needs to be done. So product owner owns product decisions. And then if there is any market changes, product owner is the person, he analyzes that market changes, and based on that, he will be changing the priority within the product backlog. And then product owner is the person who maximizes the value which team is delivering, and product owner is a value maximizer for the organization as well. And he is the one to prioritize. He'll be doing an analysis whether any feature which he or she is picking up, whether it's adding value or not adding value. If it is adding value, then the product owner will be prioritizing it. If it is not adding, maybe that feature would be deleted from the product backlog. Product owner is the person who would be doing it. Next is Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is more of a process coach or Scrum coach or a Scrum expert who would help teams and then the leadership and the organization to understand about Scrum, and then facilitates the events. And then if there is any blockers in between reaching the sprint goal, Scrum Master is a person who will help team to remove those blockers. And then he'll be more of a true leader for team members to build that learning culture or collaborative culture within the team and then between the teams in the organization. And moving to developers, this is more of a self-organizing team where they have all the skills to convert product backlog item into product increment. So that's called cross-functional team, where they have all the skills to convert this product backlog item into product increment. And then they'll be the people who will maintain the culture of learning and collaboration within the organization. This is with accountabilities, 3 accountabilities: Scrum Master, Product Owner, and developers. And I'll just give a pause, and I have one question. So if you have been a Scrum Master, or if you have observed Scrum Masters doing their job, what challenges have you observed as a Scrum Master? Take a minute and then try to summarize what challenges you have seen Scrum Master facing it, or if you have been a Scrum Master, what challenges are you facing? Again, feel free to share your thoughts, make your voice heard. Okay, one challenge which I see is when developers are not delivering the solution planned in sprint. Okay. And then product owner will try to get leader position. Okay. Within given time frame, what to do. Okay. Okay, a couple of tips we'd like to share. And then if at the end, we'll discuss about those challenges as well if time permits. So these are some of the tips for Scrum Masters. One thing is knowing your team. And then whatever challenges you have put, knowing your team would help you to understand what challenge. Suppose I'll pick one challenge where product owner will try to get leader position. Okay, that's one challenge I can take now. Suppose as a Scrum Master, what you need to do. Now I have seen that product owner is trying to take a leader position. Somewhere you need to, as a Scrum Master, you need to understand the context. And to understand the context, start having a conversation with whoever stakeholders involved. Suppose it can be product owner's boss, or it can be somebody else whom product owner is interacting. And then try to have a conversation with your product owner saying that, okay, somewhere I have observed so and so. And then this is what I have observed, and this is the data I have collected. Is there anything where I can help as a Scrum Master? So once you start that conversation, you will be able to understand their context better, which is driving the kind of behavior in the team. And then based on that, you'll start either coaching or mentoring your product owner. Then that would help you to at least take to some point where mutually or collaboratively we can work out and then change that behavior. And then at any point of time when you are working with some behaviors, well, first thing is observation, then collect data around your observation, then what kind of behavior you are expecting, which would help the team to be effective, and then what is the impact of that behavior which they are exhibiting correctly. So try to have these 4 parameters when you are having this conversation, and then definitely that would help you to have effective conversations with your product owner or with your team members when resolving some issues. Then one is knowing your team. Next is don't forget to be agile yourself. So as you are an agile practitioner and a Scrum Master, process coach, and then you need to walk the talk. Whatever you are saying, you need to practice it. Because when you are telling something, even your team members would be observing you. So you need to walk the talk, and then you need to be agile practitioner first before suggesting some changes or some suggestions for your team members. And then give more focus on continuous feedback or continuous improvement culture. So you need to totally focus on continuous improvement, what you can improve. It can be a practice, or it can be a process, or it can be getting a new technique, a new technology, a new practice. So this is something you would be able to focus on for continuous improvement. Then learn continuously, grow as a Scrum Master. It can be through attending meetups, or it can be interacting with experts and then getting certified. These are some ways where you can improve your knowledge and then increase your knowledge. So this is about Scrum Master. Moving on to product owner, I'll just give a pass. And then as a product owner, or if you have observed product owners, what challenges you are facing as a product owner? And then I see that there are some questions coming up in the chat. We'll discuss at the end. Okay, no worries. Moving on. So a couple of tips from product owners. So using a sprint goal, because there are the teams I have coached that they do planning and everything, but they leave the sprint goal because they are more into delivery. They're not focused on why. But this is one tip which as a product owners, if you start crafting your sprint goal or focus on helping your team members to craft sprint goal, that will help them understand why they are doing what they are doing, and then what value they would be delivering to users, and then whatever work they are doing, what is the purpose of that work. They'll understand through this crafting this sprint goal. Okay, then work with Scrum Master on a daily basis. This is something which we have discussed. So Scrum Masters and product owners have to work together collaboratively to address the challenges or to add more value for the team and then for the organization. And being available. So because product owners have been put into multiple products and where they don't have much time for team, this is what I have observed. But you need to clear out some of the works and then be available for the team for clarification, so that at any point of time they have questions that they can just interact with you and then get it clarified so that it won't hinder their work. And then again, as I said, Scrum Master and product owner both has to committed for continuous improvement and then set clear path for Scrum team. Because unless you set a vision saying that, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what our team is going to deliver in first quarter, second quarter, once you set that product vision, knowing the destination where we are going to reach, that will help you to, that will help developers to implement changes in whatever work they are doing. So these are some of the tips for product owners. And then I'll cover artifacts and events in a bit. So first I'll start with artifacts. So 3 artifacts. This is something which we have already discussed in the framework: product backlog, sprint backlog, and then potentially shippable product increment. Product backlog, anything and everything which is related to product, which is open for work of the product, that will be a list of things to do in the product. That's called as product backlog, and it will be owned by product owner. And then product owner prioritizes the list of items based on the value it's creating. Sprint backlog, once you have product backlog, you will do a sprint planning, and then out of which you will come up with sprint backlog, which is the item selected for the sprint plus the how you are going to deliver the plan to deliver that work, and sprint goal. Combining all 3, it will form sprint backlog. Next is shippable increment. At the end of sprint, you will be delivering delivering the features in the form of product increment, which is reviewed in sprint review, and then get the feedback from your stakeholders. This is about 3 artifacts. So coming to events, there are 5 events. I'll quickly run through. So planning, daily scrum, review, retro, and the sprint itself. So planning is a place where you will be planning for your sprint, and the ideal time is 8 hours for 1 month sprint. Daily scrum, where you will be tracking your progress towards your sprint goal. It is for 15 minutes. Then sprint review, which is 4 hours for 1 month of sprint, for 2 hours for 2 week sprint, where you will be sharing your product to the product or working software or product increment to your stakeholders, get their feedback, let them use it, and then provide that feedback. And that feedback will be added to product backlog. And then when you are going to work upon it, that's something product owner decides. And retro is a place where you will be getting feedback for process and people. And then this is restricted only for Scrum team, Scrum Master, product owner, and developers, which is 3 hours for 1 month sprint and 90 minutes for 2 week sprint. And sprint itself, which is holding all these events, is called as an event in event in Scrum. So this is something which you have already seen in the State of Agile report, where 66% of the companies are using Scrum as their Agile framework to do value delivery. And then these are some of the companies which are using Scrum for their ways of working. I'll just give a pause. So we are almost ending the part one. So where I was taking you through Scrum values, framework, then accountabilities, events, and artifacts. So what is your one key takeaway from part one of this webinar? Use chat to add your answers there. So I see some interactions happening in chat. It's really good. So what is one key takeaway from hearing about Scrum? 353, 3 accountabilities, 5 events, and then 3 artifacts. Okay, you can take your time and then put it. And moving to part two, which my colleague Sandeep would be taking you through. Sandeep, over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Balaji. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all of you, based on where you are. Thank you for joining us today. Let me quickly take you through the learning and career pathways. You all might be wondering, how does learning about Scrum helps you? How does it help you in either your career or either in your learning journey, right? So some of you might be working already in companies where Scrum is being practiced. Some of you might be already playing the role of Scrum Master and product owner or business analyst or project managers. Some of you might be coming fresh from university or working in your particular courses. So let me assure you that this is a framework which is applicable and which is useful for many of the scenarios, and it is most popular. So it is really relevant for all of you who have joined us and who are watching this webinar. So the first and foremost thing is, as a Scrum Master being a role, product owner is the another role, and the third role is the overall team, right? These are the 3 roles we talked about in Scrum. So one thing, let's start with the Scrum Master. When we talk about Scrum Master, it is one of the most promising jobs that you will find on LinkedIn. So if you are currently doing your master's or your graduation degree and you are looking for entering into the workforce, this is something that you can try out, and you can use it as your career planning tool. Why this is really important is because if you're working in an environment where you are good collaborator, you're good facilitator, and if you like to work with people and if you like to solve people's problem, Scrum Master might be a very, very good role for you, because it's a role which is basically leading from behind the scene, right? So where they find out the challenges, the blockers, and they unblock the team through their coordination with everybody else, right? So one of the instances where I've been coaching Scrum Masters for almost 13 years now, and there are many instances where we saw where Scrum Masters are really, number one, either really good at their job, or sometimes by learning the tips and tricks of how to do certain things. Like, for example, when there is a dependency on a team and this team is not prioritizing your work, right, let's say, and your project is really, really important and you need to deliver on time. Now, understanding how to negotiate with this team, how to use your facilitation skill to go and talk about, hey guys, we are dependent on you. This is how if you unblock us, we can release this, and then we can also unblock you when you have dependency on us. So having those kind of negotiations, those kind of planning, and those kind of connections with the people is what Scrum Masters are really good at, right? So again, it's a very, very highly paid job. Also, the expected growth rate for is more than 24%. Again, when we look at the Agile state of Agile report, which we have shared with you, it tells you that more than 90% of the companies are going on their Agile journey in some shape or form. So this transformation is going to go on, and many companies will get on this bandwagon as well, right? So there is no dire of this role growth. It is going to go, even more than what is currently projected, in our opinion. Many companies are hiring. Some of the bigger names are here, but if you go, like I said, on LinkedIn, you will find there are even tens and 50s of the companies are currently hiring. Background of Scrum Master, again, who generally adopts it? So most of the people, they are coming from information technology and project management background. Especially with Scrum, there is no defined role for a project manager within a team. So most of the project management functional people, they generally understand and get towards the Scrum Master certification, understand and then become Scrum Masters. Or also there are BAs and QAs who are really good at connecting with people and facilitating. They also become the Scrum Master. And then there are other populations as well. But getting a Scrum Master certification is not the end of it. You can still go and then do the bigger roles, because it opens up multiple possibilities for you. So whether you can play delivery lead role, program manager role, automation engineer role, and an agile coach role, and so on and so forth. But getting into the Scrum Master role actually enables you to understand the the servant leadership, as we call it, or the overall growth mindset that you bring into team, right? So that's why Scrum Master is important. Now, in terms of what is the learning options, now there are certifications which is available in the industry. If you search for certification, you will find so many certifications for Scrum Masters. But from Massivue, we have been working with corporates for almost, as coaches for multiple years, and we coach and train teams in different companies, different corporates. You saw various logos in the initial slides. What we bring to the table is the real experience, and also the real insights from what actually the companies are looking for, what kind of knowledge they are looking for. So if you are looking for a certification, our recommendation is go through the Scrum Incorporation certification. So registered Scrum Master, or registered Scrum at Scale practitioner, or registered Scrum Master at Scale. This certification, the course content, the course, and the overall curriculum is designed by Dr. Jeff Sutherland, who is the creator of Scrum. So there is no better place and no better curriculum than this. Secondly, it is not theoretical. It's all practical, practice based. There are so many scenarios, and we from Massivue, when we teach this course, we also bring in a lot of scenarios from real life, so that you learn the best. And then when you are out of this certification, you are actually able to apply it. I'm pretty sure you might have already been through certification classes, been through various trainings, but how many of you can remember that when you come out of that class, you can actually apply that knowledge immediately after the training ends? Half of the time, you forget about what you learned in a class by the next coffee, because it was all either theoretical or it was all based on academic knowledge. But that's what we bring to the table. It's really practical use cases and examples, which can empower and enable you to tackle those challenges in your workplace. If you're already in Scrum Master and working in a scaled environment, obviously there are other choices, right? And you can also continue your learning journey using the SAFe certifications, where you have SAFe Scrum Masters, SAFe Advanced Scrum Masters, and then there are multiple other certification and trainings that we offer. But in this webinar, we wanted to focus on getting, and our title of this and the series is Back to Basics. So you want to keep it really at the basic foundational level. These are the certificates that certifications that we recommend for all the individuals. Second job title and the role in that you saw in the Scrum framework is product owner. Again, it's very similar, both in terms of if you are planning your career, it's a highly demanded role. And there are so many product owners being hired by multiple different companies. Again, predominantly because the transformations are in full swing. People want early releases, people want right prioritization, and this is one of the roles where you will see that there is a lot of gap in terms of how people perceive this, right? So I'm pretty sure those who are working in working environment, you might have a product owner, but they don't know what it means, and they still act like a product leader or a project manager, which is not their role. And many times the team feels frustrated. We have been through those situations many times ourselves. And what helps is if you understand what the role is, then you can perform it better. Most of the times, the people in the role, they do not have any idea about what the role is, and they still continue to behave and do what they used to do in their old roles. That's why the role of product owner is very, very critical for success of the team. Now, it is again, you can see the average salary, the job growth rate is around 15%, and it is going to grow more and more, because finding the right product owners is very, very difficult. And then companies hiring some of the names you see here, which is based on very recent data. But if you search online, you will find more and more. In terms of the career path, most of the business analysts who have a very good knowledge of business, or people who are doing product management as their function, or change management, these people, they generally go for product owner career path. And also it enables them to understand the business context more, understand how to prioritize things, how to invest money, how to create the right priority for the team and roadmaps, and so on and so forth, right? So again, getting onto this journey, you can actually then enable doors for more than just product ownership. You can go into the project management space, you can go into product and program management space, and so on and so forth. So again, very, very good role, a stepping point for you to kickstart your journey. Now, for product owner, the Scrum Incorporation offers 2 certificates. Product owner, which is the registered product owner course, and then you have a registered product owner at scale course, right? Both of these courses are, again, the curriculum is designed by Dr. Jeff Sutherland himself. And if you are looking for a scaled kind of models, then you have the safe product owner course. So in our experience, one of the projects that I have recently completed, I have trained 150 product owners there. And the reason we have been training them is, number one, they went through this transformation program, and then they basically relabeled all their business analysts to product owners. And those individuals, they were not enabled, or some of them have no idea what it means. And they continued to do what they used to do in their previous roles. So because of that, the company was losing a lot of time. They were not able to release. The team was frustrated. The management had no clue what is happening. So when we went in there, we looked at this team and we said, this is what your problem is. This is what it takes to get you there. And we ran with a product owner course with them. We enabled a few of the product owners to prove it. And then when they saw the value, that's when we basically moved from from 20 to 150, and we rolled out the program. And now we see that they have improved their productivity. They have also improved the problem and challenges, as you were seeing. Now product owners are not acting as just leaders who are coming and giving orders. They actually are engaging with the team. They're working with them day in and day out. All right, so with that, now, let me quickly go and then share why I should join this course, right? So when you are looking at the benefit as a student, what is in it for you? As a professional, what is in it for you, right? So it is, number one, having these certification courses gets you to the door, right? So in most of the job advertisement, you'll find that they demand certification. And these are the most popular certification. They are truly value for money, because the ROI exceeded the amount that you invest in these courses, and it is industry recognized, right? It is. So when I say industry recognized, what I mean is, if I show you Let me quickly show you the website where you can find all these details. Yeah, so you can basically find all these details here at their agileeducation.org, where you can find out, full details of this course. You can also look at the video from Dr. Jeff Sutherland and how these courses have been designed and so on and so forth. So this is a very good way to, look at that, this is truly industry recognized courses. All right. In addition, you will also get to the list of the registry of agile professions. That means your name will be there. So any employer, anybody can go and check your credentials, right? So that's the transparency bit that these courses provide you as well, right? And also you get invitation to our webinars, access on-demand learning, and also you get a badge that you can then promote it on your social media, your LinkedIn profile, and so on and so forth. So it brings a lot of credibility to the skills that you have. Even if you're playing the role currently, having this certification does give you a career jump. You maybe, when you're discussing in your one-on-one with your manager, you can always go and then share with them, hey, I have recently done this certification. This is what I learned. What additional things or opportunities are there in the company that I can do? And that opens up, another level of discussions for you as an individual in any company that you worked in. All right. So given that we're all in here, we have some offers for this and some classes that we wanted to share, especially the weekend courses. So like I was sharing, we offer this to corporates, and this is the first time we're offering to, as an offer to the online community, right? So we generally do not run the offers, but we wanted to make sure that, we are giving the right outcomes for the audience here, given that you have spent the time with us today. So we have the registered Scrum Master classes on 27 and 28th August, which is the last weekend of this month. And then the registered product owner is happening in the first week of September, 3rd September and 4th September. Scrum at Scale is happening 10th and 11th September, and the Scrum Master at Scale is happening 24th and 25th of September. And I would highly encourage you to take the first step and register for these courses. Now, what's special about this webinar is you are getting an unimaginable discount today. So what we are saying is, if you're looking for the foundational courses, which is the registered Scrum Master and registered product owner, our webinar price is 55% off, that is USD 499. And if you're going for the Scrum at Scale or Scrum Master at Scale, you're getting a webinar price of 699 USD. So this is very, very competitive prices, as low as it can get at any point in time. And what you can do is, today you can pay $29 so that you can book the slot for this, and you can pay the remaining before the class starts, 3 days before the class starts. So if you are basically willing to kind of register this, and if you are looking for enhancing your career and getting this registered, this is how you register. This is the link for the offer. You can also scan this barcode with your mobile phone and get to this particular URL. We will also put this URL in the chat window for those who want to go through and register for this course. These are must-run classes. That means these classes will run for sure. So, and also our trainers come with industry experience, as we were telling. So what you are getting from the trainers and from the course, the ROI is multifold. All right. So please pick up your phone and then go through the registration process. If there are any of you want to register, this link will be active for the next 20 minutes. And then this link will be disabled. As I was telling, we generally do not have offers on our courses because of the trainers and because of the way we provide these trainings. These are really top notch. This is not the typical trainings you will get in the market for just some some very, very low price, because the trainers are really certified trainers. These trainers are learned from Jeff Sutherland himself. For example, they go to Boston, they work with Jeff Sutherland for more than 10 days to really understand the nitty-gritties of course. And also they have practiced this in the field for more than 20 years. So that's what we offer as part of our trainings, really pragmatic and practical trainings. So again, I see the first registration coming. Eileen So from Singapore has registered for the registered Scrum Master course. Thank you, Eileen. We hope to see you in the class. Let's give a couple of minutes for people who wants to register for the course. All right, we see Sangeeta from Bangalore, India, registered for the Scrum Master course. Thank you, Sangeeta. Thomas Lee. Thank you, Thomas, for registering for this course. All right, we are also seeing some requests around extending this link for few more time so that they can take a look at it. So just to show you the page again, how does this page looks like? Let me quickly go here. This is the page. You can actually browse through this page and then see the links to each of the course, so you can get the course details. And by clicking on these links, you can book a particular slot. So if you want to book the registered Scrum Master for 27 and 28th August, this is the link. For 17 September to this is the link. For product owner, these are the links. For the scaled ones, practitioner, this is the link. For Scrum Master, it is scale, this is the link. So yeah, and then you can also see that there are the refund policy and cancellation as well. So again, book the course that you are looking for. All right, I see Isabel Su from Singapore. She registered for the product owner course. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate people who are taking time and registering for these courses. Thank you for that. Let us go back to the Q&A section. Are there specific questions that we can handle? Let me quickly see the chat window. All right. There should be Scrum Master in the team. Yes, of course. Okay, I think all of the questions have been answered in the chat. We look forward to see you, all of you, there in our classes. As I told you, we are going to extend the links for another 12 hours. So these links will be active until tomorrow, and then this will be disabled. So thank you very much for joining this session today. And we wish you all the best in your career and learning journey. Hope it was useful use of your time. Thank you. Goodbye. See you.